Terrifying secrets, over $5 million buried in the sinister hills of haunted Los Angeles. Sarah stepped out of her car, the shadows around her thickening as she locked the door. The weight of a late shift clung to her shoulders. Tonight felt different. Under the glow of the street lamps, the cicadas droned a steady hum, their song broken only by the occasional rustle from the overgrown bushes lining her quiet street. But as she walked towards her modest home, a sinister chill grazed her spine. An abandoned car, coated in dust and hidden in darkness, loomed menacingly by the curb, its windows blackened, its owner nowhere to be seen. She shivered, yet as she entered her home, the familiar sounds of her children's breathing filled the air, enveloping her in a fragile sense of safety. Still, anxiety twisted in her gut like a ravenous snake. Outside, the neighbors huddled together, their whispers frantic and urgent. Glancing toward their anxious faces, she overheard Snippet's disappearances. Sinister Hills, did you hear? Those hills loomed at the end of her street, notorious for the secrets they held. A once respectable area tangled in twisted tales, murmurs of a past soaked in terror swirled through the community like an insidious fog. Compelled by a mix of dread and curiosity, Sarah dove in, searching for the truth buried beneath the sinister legends. With every piece of information she unearthed, fear gripped her tighter. The hills bore a dark reputation, haunted by a figure shrouded in violence. Murder and misfortune dripped from the trees as if the soil was cursed. The allure of a hidden fortune, whispered to be $5 million entombed amid the remnants of horror, danced tantalizingly on her mind, but with every secret discovered, Sarah felt the chill creep deeper into her bones. Her landlord's smile morphed into something sinister, and her seemingly kind neighbor's presence began to feel suffocating. Each exchanged glance dripped with unspoken threats. She dug deeper, but the police dismissed her frantic reports as paranoia, their laughs echoing around her like demons mocking her sanity. Left alone with mounting fear, Sarah understood now the hills weren't just stories, they twisted into her very own reality. Then, on one chilling night, after the glow of the hospital lights and the gnawing exhaustion, Sarah collapsed into her kitchen, her heart thundering. Her phone buzzed, lighting up the dark space with its eerie glow. "I know what you're looking for." The word sent icy tendrils of terror curling up her spine. Who was watching her? Had she ventured too far into the shadows? The sudden quiet in her home was deafening, her children's laughter faded, replaced by the rhythm of her pulsing heart, frantic and wild. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she stared at the message, a question loomed. Was it a warning or an invitation? The walls of her sanctuary felt like they were inching closer, suffocating her. Each moment brought her deeper into the cold embrace of uncertainty. Every creak of the house carried whispers, shadows danced just beyond her view, and Sarah felt the crushing weight of the legends. Haunted by echoes from the sinister hills, her fate was no longer hers alone. A malevolent past clawed at her heels, demanding to be confronted. Would she dare unearth the buried truth, or would the sins of the past consume her whole as they had before? The air hung heavy and thick, pressing down on Sarah as she staggered back from her phone. Her mind raced with every heartbeat, darkness seemed to pulse around her. Fear took on a life of its own, slithering into her thoughts. "I know what you're looking for," the words echoed, rattling against her skull like trapped birds. She forced herself to breathe, searching for clarity in the oppressive atmosphere. The emptiness of her home became suffocating, shadows creeping across walls, their forms twisting and warping into phantoms. A soft thud echoed from the hallway, and Sarah's heart stopped. Her breath quickened, and she edged toward it like a moth drawn to an unseen flame. "Mom." The soft voice of her youngest broke through the stillness. Mia, her 5-year-old, stood framed in the darkness of the living room. Her eyes shone wide with innocence, yet Sarah could see a flicker of fear reflecting back. What's wrong? I heard scary sounds. Sarah knelt, pulling her daughter close, trying to shield her from the encroaching dread. It's just a little thunder, baby. But her voice trembled, failing to convey even a semblance of reassurance. The truth curled around her. This wasn't just going to pass. This went deeper than any storm. Slipping from her daughter's grasp, Sarah turned to the kitchen window, compelled by a force she couldn't explain. Outside, the curtains of darkness revealed the looming silhouette of Sinister Hills, as if the very land was breathing, waiting, watching. She knew she couldn't stay put. Steeling herself, she snatched her keys, deciding she needed to confront the shadows. The idea of unearthing buried secrets sent dread spiraling through her, but what choice did she have? As she pushed the front door open, the night air wrapped around her, cool yet pungent with the earthy scent of impending rain. As she stepped into the street, the night sounded alive. The cicadas shifted, their voices rising and falling like waves under a storm. Every rustle of leaves felt like whispers echoing her name. Lifting her eyes to the hills, she felt gravity pulling her forward, a whisper beckoning her to uncover the truth. She trudged through the dimly lit neighborhood, taking cautious steps toward the unknown. Each step illuminated the remnants of stories left untold. The neighbors' laughter, which once held warmth, now seemed laden with malice, their faces morphing as she glanced back. Their murmurs lingered like a clingy fog, wrapping tighter, reality warped under suspicion. As she rounded the corner, feet crunching on gravel, nervous anticipation quickened her heartbeat as the outline of the hills loomed closer. The stories flooded her mind, suffocating all tales of fortunes hidden beneath cursed soil. Bravery mingled with horror, and as Sarah pressed on, she could feel the weight of their gaze, accusing and eager. Suddenly, the faintest illumination caught her eye. A flickering light pierced the darkness at the base of the hills. Was it a torch? Or a warning? Her pulse raced. As she approached the source, a chilling realization sank in: she was not the only one drawn here. A figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked under the veil of night. The light glinted off something metallic in their hand. Sarah froze, terror pounding through her veins. Looking for something? The figure whispered, their voice low and taunting, echoing the message that had haunted her. Fear clawed at her throat as the realization sunk in: she was no longer just uncovering legends. She was entwined in a deadly game, and the stakes were far more than she ever expected. In that moment, Sarah knew one unshakable truth: she wasn't alone anymore. As the figure stepped closer, the ground beneath her felt unsteady, like the very hills were shifting, eager to swallow her whole. What had she stumbled into? Would she discover a fortune or only find her end in the Sinister Hills? The figure stepped into the moonlight, revealing a gaunt face, eyes burning with an unsettling intensity. A crooked smile curled on their lips as they pointed the metallic object, a knife, toward Sarah. Her heart raced, a drum pounding in her chest that drowned out the distant sounds of the cicadas. "Who are you?" she managed to stammer, her voice wavering as she took a half-step back, instinct screaming at her to run. The figure chuckled, a chilling sound that seemed to sap the warmth from the air. "Just a seeker, like you. But I'm afraid you've ventured too far." A low, sinister melody danced in their eyes, a mix of mockery and something darker. "But I'm not looking for trouble," Sarah protested, taking another step back, but the hillside loomed behind her, an impenetrable wall of darkness. She clutched her keys tightly, the weight of them feeling insufficient against the terror unfolding before her. "Oh, but trouble has a way of finding those who seek," the figure replied, their voice oozing charisma in an unsettling manner. "Especially in these hills. You're not the first, and you won't be the last." She felt an icy chill prickling down her spine. Was this person another lost soul? Or a hunter, preying on the curious? Questions flipped in her mind, but the spiraling dread slowed her thoughts. "What do you know?" Sarah demanded, trying to steady herself. "What's down there?" For a moment, the figure's expression flickered, shadowed by the flicker of the light. "The land remembers," they whispered, their gaze shifting to the hills. "Memories of greed, blood, and betrayal run deep here. You really shouldn't underestimate them. Sarah's heart raced. The stories she'd heard, the missing people, the buried treasure, suddenly felt tangible, as if the very soil was humming beneath her feet, anxious to reveal its dark secrets. I can help you find what your heart desires, the figure offered, stepping closer with a deliberate slowness, the knife glinting with menacing allure. But first, you must see the truth. Only then can you grasp the fortune hidden in this cursed land. She bit her lip, adrenaline surging, an internal battle raging. Was there a fortune waiting, or only the danger that lurked in the tales passed from mouth to mouth? Her thoughts flickered back to Mia, alone at home. Would she dare risk it all for something that might not exist? Come with me, the figure beckoned, seeming to sense her hesitation. It's not far. The hills will open their arms to those who dare. The tension around them thickened, wrapping Sarah in an invisible grip. She glanced over her shoulder, scanning the path she had walked, and then back at this stranger, this harbinger of unanswered questions. Do you want the truth? Or do you want to go back? They prodded, each word dripping with menace. Every instinct shouted for her to run, yet an almost magnetic pull urged her forward. She could feel the hills whisper stories to her, beckoning her into the depths of the unknown. With a shaky breath, Sarah stepped forward, the dagger at the ready, the darkness closing in, waiting for one wrong move to seize her. What secrets did the Sinister Hills keep that would either illuminate her path or drag her into eternal shadows? And just before she could say yes or no, the ground beneath her trembled, sending a chill through her bones, a warning, perhaps, from the hills themselves. What awaited her on the other side of that threshold? Was the knowledge worth the price of her soul? Find out if you dare, the figure urged, the night cloaking them again as they stepped into the shadows. Sarah felt her heartbeat quicken at the prospect, each choice leading to the allure of the buried, haunted treasure or the horror that might consume them both. The ground quaked again, more violently this time, as if something long buried was awakening from a deep slumber. Sarah stumbled, barely catching herself before she fell into the dark maw behind her. Instinct clawed at her throat, and the stranger loomed closer, their knife glimmering like a taunt in the moonlight. Do you feel it? They whispered, a conspiratorial glee dancing in their eyes. The land, it knows you're here. It remembers your kind. They all come for the treasure, thinking it's riches that lie beneath. But there was a flourish in the air, a movement that sent a shiver darting through her. What you seek may not be what you hope. Her breaths came in shallow gasps, jagged and uneven. What do you mean? If it's treasure, if it's real. A surge of desperation fueled her words, but as they left her lips, the sincerity felt hollow. The figure tilted their head, their smile unyielding. Reality is often a twisted fabric, my dear. Some threads shine with golden hope, while others are stained crimson. As if on cue, a chilling wind swept through the clearing, howling in warning. Sarah could almost hear the cries of those who had ventured here before her, forever lost to the sinister grasp of those hills. She shivered, instinctively clutching her keys even tighter, as if they were a lifeline. Come, the figure urged, stepping back into the darkness, an outline against the moon's glow. The truth waits for you. It isn't far, I promise. Just beyond these trees. Why should I trust you? She shot back, her voice tinged with both fear and simmering defiance. You took a step into the shadows. What would you know of trust? The stranger laughed, a sound laced with derision, echoing into the chilling night. Ah, but darling, you're the one practically begging to explore the unknown. You're as much a seeker as I am. Perhaps even more foolish. Her heart raced as she weighed her options, an electric thrill coursing through her veins. Yet doubt nagged at her. Each inch deeper into the unknown could mean stepping away from safety and into unthinkable horror. Her mind flickered back to the stories of those who had crossed paths with the cursed land, their fates shrouded in mystery. Let me show you, the figure beckoned again, more insistent now, an invitation edged with an unsettling urgency. The hills will only reveal themselves to those willing to listen. And trust me, they've got stories to tell. With a reluctant swallow, Sarah stepped toward them, the knife still glinting in the dim light. She felt a strange compulsion to follow, as if the very earth was pulling her in. What awaited her beyond that threshold? What lurked within the shadows of the trees, whispering promises of power and pain? The stranger turned, leading her deeper into the abyss. Embrace the darkness. It's where the answers lie. But with each step, the ground beneath her felt unnervingly soft, as if it might swallow her whole at any moment. Thoughts of Mia flickered in her mind like a dying ember. Was it too late to turn back? Just as she considered her options, a low groan rumbled from the hills, vibrating through her bones. The earth seemed to sigh, as if in response to their presence. Did you hear that? Sarah halted, alarmed and wide-eyed. Ah, but it's only the wind, or is it? The figure turned, their voice low as shadows danced upon their face. Sometimes, the whispers are deceiving, and sometimes, they speak the harshest truths we're too afraid to face. In the distance, a chilling wail pierced the night, sending a spine-chilling thrill through her body. It was as if the hills were warning her, cautioning against the inevitable choice she was about to make. Are you ready to discover what lies beneath? The figure asked, leaning closer, their eyes glimmering with anticipation. Or will you turn back now, while you still can? The question hung in the air, charged with fear and urgency. An unseen world awaited, poised to reveal itself, yet uncharted danger loomed with every heartbeat. A choice had to be made. The sinister hills beckoned her with promises of darkness and truth. But at what cost? And in that moment, lightning cracked overhead, illuminating the figure's twisted smile. Would she plunge into the depths of horror, or heed the warnings of those lost before her? The night was electric with tension, the possibilities stretching into an abyss of uncertainty. The darkness thickened around them, wrapping like a shroud. Sarah's pulse quickened as she followed the figure into the depths of the trees, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Each step felt heavier, as though the very soil was reluctant to let her go. An unsettling instinct in her gut screamed for her to flee, yet she pressed on. Tell me what you know, she demanded, voice steady despite the quiver in her soul. The figure paused, casting a sidelong glance that sparkled with mischief. Ah, but knowledge has its price. Are you ready to pay? Their laughter sent a cascade of shivers down her spine, mingling with the low, ominous groans from the hills. A rustle broke the silence, a sudden movement in the thicket. Sarah's heart lurched. What was that? She whispered, eyes darting as shadows flickered around her. Nothing and everything. The land speaks, Sarah. The stranger stepped closer, breath hot against her ear. It hungers for the curious, the greedy. Goosebumps lined her arms. Would the darkness truly reveal secrets, or simply consume her? The wail she had heard earlier echoed in her mind, a sorrowful lament drifting through the air. Keep moving, the figure hissed, urgency creeping into their tone. You're close. Close to what? Her voice wavered, tension pooling like ice in her chest. Open your mind, step deeper. They gestured toward a gnarled path that twisted ominously into unseen depths. Treasures and terrors lie just ahead. The words felt like chains pulling at her, trapping her within this dangerous allure. A deep breath steadied her, though dread clawed at her throat like an animal. Sarah glanced behind her. The shadows were thick, each one casting doubt. She couldn't go back now, she had ventured too far into the abyss. Just as she prepared to follow, a bright flash lit the night. The trees illuminated into twisted specters, revealing hollow eyes and jagged mouths. Sarah staggered back, nearly colliding with the stranger. Did you see them? Panic laced her words. What are they? Souls of the land. Their gaze turned somber, the glimmer of delight waning. All who sought the same thing. They linger. Watch. A chill seeped into her bones. Each glance toward the trees revealed forms moving just outside her field of vision, whispering in voices that rattled her very core. We must hurry before they awaken fully. Awaken? Her heart raced anew, every warning bell ringing. Why did she put one foot in front of the other? She took a step back, uncertainty coursing through her. Yet the figure grabbed her wrist, a grip firm like iron. They'll pull you beneath if you hesitate. You want the truth. This is the path. A low thrum vibrated through the ground, almost like a heartbeat, echoing with a pulse of its own. It beckoned. The stranger released her, a smile creeping on their lips. Are you ready to face what lies beneath? Sarah swallowed hard, glancing into the darkened mass of trees. She felt every ounce of caution drain from her as an inexplicable force surged within her. Did she desire the truth or had greed overtaken her? But before she could think, the ground trembled again, more violently this time, eliciting a terrified gasp. The dark trees around them swayed as if alive, their roots loosening, releasing horrid echoes of cries and laughter that sent chills racing through her spine. Go. Now. The figure urged, voice sharp as glass, a now fractured facade of calm. Without another thought, Sarah plunged forward into the shadows, uncertain of what lay ahead. As she made her way deeper into the unknown, she felt a presence behind her. Something, or someone, was watching, waiting, and just as the air thickened with silence, a flash of light erupted from the depths, exposing a gaping maw beneath the ground, the darkness swirling like a storm. Questions flooded her mind, but all she could feel was the cool, clammy grip of fear tightening around her heart. What was awakening below? Would she ever find a way back? The night roared in response, a distant scream echoing through the hills as her world faded into shadow. A chilling thought pierced through the fear. What was really hidden beneath those cursed hills? What kind of treasure awaited, and at what devastating cost? The air thickened into something palpable as Sarah pushed deeper into the forest. The ground pulsated beneath her feet, the low thrum intensifying, resonating with her racing heart. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back, but the siren call of the unknown tugged at her, urging her forward. Whispers floated through the trees, echoing like lost memories drifting in the wind. They twisted into recognizable voices, taunting and begging. Help us. One cried. Save us. Another echoed, pleading for mercy from the deep. Anxiety knotted in her stomach. Were these souls reaching out, or were they traps meant to ensnare the unwary? Listen, the figure behind her hissed, their voice sharp against the murmur of ghosts. Sarah glanced back, but shadows obscured their face. Do not let them draw you in. Keep moving. What if I can't? Sarah felt the weight of despair settling, a cold hand wrapping around her throat. What destiny awaited those who ventured this far? She had to know. The path widened, and Sarah stumbled into a clearing, a bizarre contrast to the suffocating darkness surrounding the trees. Moonlight bathed the area in silver, revealing a circle carved into the earth, etched with crude symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. Each symbol looked like arms reaching, clawing for sustenance, for life. What is this place? She breathed, dread replacing her earlier curiosity. A place of sacrifice, the figure replied, stepping beside her in the silver light. Their face was still hidden, shadows cloaking their features. It desires offerings, like you. Sarah recoiled. Like me? What are you talking about? I didn't sign up for any sacrifice. Anxiety clawed at her voice, but beneath that, anger blazed. Oh, but you did, love. You wanted the truth, didn't you? They stepped closer, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Truth is the most insatiable hunger. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the clearing, shaking the ground beneath her. A dark fissure opened at the center of the circle, emanating an oppressive darkness that seemed to devour the moonlight. Sarah stumbled back, her heart racing, each beat echoing in the silence around them. As the ground split wider, twisted forms began to emerge from the void. Horrific silhouettes slithered up from the depths, their elongated bodies tangled, faces melting together in silent screams. Each creature seemed stitched together from the nightmares of those who had come here before, all looking to her, pleading for release. No, no. She turned to run, but a force held her in place, dragging her toward the opening. In the chaos of shadows, she felt the breath of those lost souls prickling her skin, their desperation clawing at her heart. "Let me go!" she cried. "You can't leave. You have a choice to make." The figure loomed over her now, their voice mingling with the wails of the creatures breaking free. "Join them, or offer something of your own." "What do you mean?" Terror gripped her as she struggled against the unseen force. "What could I possibly offer?" "Your truth, Sarah. A piece of your soul." Their laughter rang out, demonic and wild, blending with the cries. "Every question you dared to ask, every dark thought you wished for. They take pieces of you, your desires, your fears. You wanted the hidden, now you must pay." She felt the pull of the darkness intensify, dragging her toward the abyss. Panic surged through her as she saw her own reflection in the gaping maw. It welcomed her with an insatiable hunger. Make the choice now. The world shifted, the shadows dancing around her, and in that moment, Sarah understood. Whatever lay beneath had been drawing her in all along, and every soul lost was proof of that hunger, but she couldn't surrender, not yet. With every ounce of strength, she wrenched herself free from the grip of the darkness, stumbling back as horror filled the clearing. The ground roared, the shadows writhed more violently, threatening to pull her under. "Stay with me, until the truth is found." The figure screamed, their form morphing into a grotesque vision of merged souls. Sarah's heart pounded as she faced the choice, a choice laced with danger and the promise of truth. But as she turned to flee, the fissure widened, and a voice, deeper than the darkness, hissed, "What will you sacrifice to escape?" Every instinct told her to run, but she stood frozen, suspended between the realms of terror and choice, aware that every choice could seal her fate. And then the ground trembled again, louder, as a spectral hand reached for her. What awaited in those cursed depths? The darkness swirled around Sarah, an inky tide, suffocating and alive. She fought to breathe, her lungs seizing in the oppressive weight of fear. Around her, the tortured faces of the lost beckoned, their mouths opening wide in silent screams. The shadows coiled closer, each flickering movement a reminder of their desperation, a warning and a temptation. "Run!" she screamed at herself, the word echoing in her mind like a mantra. Yet her feet felt cemented to the ground, the pull of the abyss strong and terrifying. The spectral hand reached closer, caressing her ankle, the chill spreading up her leg like ice. Panic erupted. She could see the shadows of what had once been a reflection of herself looming in the depths, dissolving into the haze. "No. I want to be a part of this." She wrenched her foot free, lifting the other to push off. It felt like tearing flesh from bone. Her heart raced, drumming against her ribcage like a wild beast attempting to escape. With one desperate lunge, she turned and sprinted into the tree-line. Branches whipped at her arms, snagging her clothing as if they too were conspiring to keep her in this nightmare. Agony pierced her muscles, but fear propelled her forward. The whispers morphed into a chorus behind her, growing louder, more insistent. "It's too late, Sarah. You cannot escape your truth." They sunk into her mind, each word embedding sharp nails, slicing through her resolve. Images flashed her family, the choices that had led her here, the curiosity that had become obsession. "Shut up!" she shouted into the shadows, feeling momentarily empowered by her defiance, though their laughter echoed around her, mocking. The forest twisted, branches hollowed like the gaping mouths of the lost, hungry, wanting. The ground quaked beneath her, threatening to swallow her whole. Shadows separated from the dark trees, familiar figures emerging, festering memories tangled with nightmares. Friends, her brother, all lost to the darkness. She had often ignored those same truths she had been too scared to uncover. "Do you see them, Sarah?" The figure's voice followed her like a ghost, sharp and clear against the growing chaos. "They're waiting for you just as you waited for the truth." She stumbled, nearly falling into a thicket. Fear clawed at her back, urging her to give in, to invite the darkness into her heart. But she couldn't do that, not now. Your desire for truth has consequences, the figure taunted, their silhouette dancing with the flickering shadows. Will you sacrifice who you are to learn who you were? Never. She gasped, blood roaring in her ears. The path narrowed ahead, and with every step, she felt the distance growing, the veil of darkness slipping away. Those ghastly figures faded into the underbrush, their words trailing off into the night. But as she burst into another clearing, her heart sank. The moonlight was gone, the sky was cloaked in swirling, stormy clouds. A thick fog rolled in, wrapping around her like a noose. Whispers filled the air, more desperate now. Stay with us, we want you there. At the center, stood a colossal stone monolith adorned with the same crude symbols as before. It seeped darkness and despair, radiating a pull that felt inescapable. The fissure remained behind her, a yawning mouth punishing her for fleeing. But then the clouds parted. A flash of something from above broke through, illuminating a pathway leading back through the woods. Was it hope, or yet another trick? Sarah hesitated, feeling the ground rippling once more, the cry of the void clamoring for her return. She had to choose: plunge back into those depths, or brave the unknown light. And from the shadows, the figure's voice whispered again, more sinister than before. Only a sliver of truth exists in the light, Sarah. But what if the truth is worse than the darkness? Her breath caught. What revelation waited at the end of that illuminated path? The shadows inched closer, pulling at her thoughts as she took a trembling step toward the flickering light. What awaited her in the glow? Would it be salvation or something infinitely darker? As she turned toward the light, the spectral hand shot out from the darkness once more, desperate to reclaim its prize. You can't escape your destiny. With trembling fingers, she reached toward the light, but would it keep her safe, or would it reveal her one true fear? The light enveloped Sarah, warm and inviting. It contrasted starkly with the suffocating shadows that clawed at her back. She hesitated, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm. The whispers faded to an eerie silence, replaced by a pulsing hum that vibrated in her bones. Was this truly the way out, or was it just another trap? She stepped forward, fear and curiosity battling within her. As her foot hit the ground beyond the fog, a blinding flash erupted. Panic surged anew. Had she made a mistake? She shielded her eyes, the brilliance almost blinding. It faded slowly, revealing a narrow dirt path stretching into the unknown. In the distance, the shadows watched, a mass of quivering darkness that seemed to recoil, sensing their hold on her weakening. But she could not shake the feeling that something terrible lay ahead. The moment she crossed that threshold, the monolith behind her quaked violently, and she could feel the darkness clawing from behind, desperate to reclaim its lost asset. Turn back. You don't know what you're doing. The voice from the shadows was sharper now, a mix of anger and despair. Sarah pressed on, nerves electrifying her skin. Vague memories flickered through her mind, moments of trust and betrayal. She could see the faces of those she had loved. Was she seeking the truth, or was she running away from it? The path twisted around towering trees, their gnarled roots breaking through the earth like veins of some monstrous creature. Each step felt heavier, the ground reaching up to hold her back. Just when she thought she might drown in the weight of uncertainty, the path opened up into another clearing. What lay before her felt surreal, a warped reflection of her deepest fears and desires. A house stood at the center, decayed yet strangely familiar. Shadows seeped from every crack, coiling around the windows, reaching out like fingers beckoning her closer. The walls were battered, dotted with symbols that mirrored those on the stone monolith. Something sinister had transpired here. Memory jolted as she recalled her family's warnings, whispered late at night about the dark past intertwined with this very place. It was here that the truth lay buried, an unspoken family curse she had spent her life trying to ignore. This is where it started, she murmured, a chill racing up her spine. As she approached the door, a sudden gust of wind whipped through the clearing, and the laughter of distant voices echoed in the air. They were taunting her again, ghastly reminders of her past transgressions. You're just like them. You can't outrun your fate. Sarah hesitated, the handle cold and foreign beneath her fingers. The door stood ajar, an invitation she couldn't resist, yet a warning held her in place. She took a deep breath, steeling herself. She could either confront her own nightmare or surrender to the shadows forever. With a shuddering push, she opened the door. A wave of stale air rushed out, chilling her to the bone. The interior was dark but welcoming in a way she could not understand. Flickering candlelight danced against the cracked walls, illuminating fragments of memories, photos from a life long lost, a table set for an imagined feast, laughter frozen in time. Before she could fully absorb the scene, a figure stepped from the shadows. Her breath caught. It was her brother, or at least what had once been him, eyes vacant yet pleading, a living echo of everything she had lost. "Sarah, you shouldn't have come here," he whispered, voice laced with both sorrow and desperation. A sudden realization crashed over her. He was trapped, just like the others. The horrors of this place would not just consume her, they would claw back what she had once thought she had escaped. Before she could react, the shadows behind her surged forward, a wave of darkness crashing through the threshold, hungry and relentless. The choice lay before her: would she free her brother and face the truth in this house, or succumb to the darkness lurking behind? As the swarming darkness engulfed the doorway, the figure of her brother flickered, a mere illusion. Flicked like a broken light bulb. "You have to decide or lose everything." With a heart pounding, she stepped further inside, the door slamming shut behind her, sealing her fate and entwining her deeper with the shadows. But what other secrets were hidden in this haunted house? What other pieces of her past lay buried, waiting to reclaim her for good? The door slammed, echoing through the suffocating darkness, leaving Sarah engulfed in silence. With every heartbeat, the weights of despair and confusion pressed harder upon her. Why was her brother here? His faded form flickered again, teasing her with hope before dissolving into shadow. She couldn't lose him. Not again. The flickering candlelight threw erratic shadows across the walls, twisting the fragmented images of uneaten meals and laughter into grotesque parodies of warmth. The air smelled of mildew and something more sinister, an unshakable sense of decay. She took a tentative step deeper into the gloom, her breath hitching as a chill slithered through her. "Sarah," the whisper slid along her spine. It wasn't her brother this time. It was all around her, swirling in the air, wrapping its cold fingers around her throat. "You shouldn't have come here." "Who is there?" she croaked, her voice trembling, barely a whisper against the oppressive dread. The laughter from outside morphed into a cruel cackle, reverberating around her, as if the house itself mocked her presence. The walls felt alive, breathing with her, the cymbals pulsing in the flickering light. She was trapped, ensnared by the very shadows that had once beckoned her. Sarah forced her legs to move, finding strength in despair. "I came to help him," she yelled defiantly, her words hanging in the stale air like a lifeline. The response was immediate. The ground beneath her shook, splintering the silence with a sudden violent roar. Laughter erupted, seemingly from the very bones of the house, echoing with an unearthly resonance. "You think you can save him? He is lost just like the others." A deep, cold terror flooded her veins. Panic surged, causing her heart to race violently against its cage. She stumbled backward, only to be halted by a wall, slick with something warm and thick. She slid her hand along it, gasping when she realized it was blood, fresh blood. "No!" she cried, wiping her palm against her jeans, fighting the urge to scream. "I want to be like them." Her voice rose, a desperate prayer against the ever-encroaching shadows. Suddenly, a figure lunged at her from the swirling dark. It wasn't her brother. His face was a mask of despair. The familiar features twisted grotesquely, eyes wide with a silent scream as he stretched toward her. The darkness around him pulsed and churned, and Sarah felt a pull, a clear and undeniable urge to run back to the door. But there was no way back. She heard the door creak, a wretched reminder of the choice she had made. "You can't leave. You belong to us." They were here, hovering at the edge of her vision, figures of regret and turmoil, voices brimming with rage and sadness. "Face it, Sarah. You inherit what you fear. Another tortured whisper echoed, shaking her resolve. Sarah's heart raced, every muscle tensed for flight, but her feet wouldn't cooperate. She couldn't bear the thought of abandoning her brother, even if he was lost. I won't let you take him. She screamed, uncertain to whom she was directing her words, but hoping against hope that it could shatter the dark illusion. The laughter grew louder, a cacophony of despair and mockery that shook her very core. Suddenly, the walls shifted closer, the shadows contorting into figures she'd loved and lost. Her mother, her father, their faces twisted in agony, their mouths silently flashing warnings and accusations. A vision flickered before her, a snapshot of her family, laughter and love, a stark contrast to the void surrounding her. If she gave into hopelessness, if she turned away, would they really be lost, forever trapped in this hellish cycle? The thought clawed at her mind, spiraling deeper into despair. Sarah, help me. Her brother's voice pleaded through the madness, cutting through the darkness. She clenched her teeth, fighting against the tide. One foot in front of the other. She had to reach him. A surge of defiance ignited within her, a flicker of the light still held deep inside. Whatever lay ahead, she had to face her nightmares, unravel the curse that bound them here. But as she fought against the shadows, a new whisper echoed softly in her ear, sinister and inviting. Come, find the truth or lose yourself. With a moment of desperate resolve, Sarah lunged forward into the darkness, the weight of her family's curse closing in behind her. What awaited her in the depths of the house? Would she discover the truth, or would the shadows finally consume her whole? The darkness enfolded Sarah like a second skin, every sound amplified in the silence that surrounded her. She felt the weight of the house's history pressing in, a suffocating reminder of everything she had lost. Her brother's pleading face flickered in and out of her mind, she couldn't leave him behind. The shadows swirled around her, twisting, beckoning her deeper into the heart of her fears. Taking a deep breath, Sarah steeled herself. I won't let you take him. She shouted, voice ringing defiantly in the gloom. The shadows hesitated, a ripple of uncertainty passing through them, as they pulled back slightly. She felt that moment of hesitation and it ignited a spark of hope within her. Racing toward her brother, she pushed deeper into the heart of the house, each step a battle against the swirling darkness. Get away from him! Sarah shouted, fiercely driving the shadows back. They recoiled, whispering disgust and despair, trying to draw her into their world of torment. A gust of cold wind rushed at her, but she dug her heels in. Sarah, her brother's voice, strained and tormented, broke through the cacophony of whispers surrounding her. You can't save me. I'm lost. No. She argued, feeling the grief knotted in her chest knot tighter. You're not lost, you're here, and I'm going to bring you back. The faces of her family flickered before her once more, twisted by sorrow, merging with others she had lost. Their outstretched hands were both a warning and a plea. But this time, Sarah stood taller, fueled by the unquenchable fire of a sister's love. I will save you. She yelled, bracing herself against the oncoming darkness. What emerged from the depths of the shadows were not just creatures, they were the manifestations of her regrets, her fears, and embodiment of all the truths she had ignored. She summoned every ounce of strength, determined to confront them. Face your truth, Sarah. The darkness taunted, swirling around her like an impending storm. It wanted her to falter and doubt herself. But Sarah pushed through, with memories of her brother, times they had shared, moments of laughter and joy. The shadows surged again, trying to overwhelm her, but something within her surged as well. You are not the shadows. You are my family. She shouted, the sound reverberating through the air. With that proclamation, something shifted. The shadows recoiled, faces contorting in rage, but Sarah pressed on. Let him go. She felt the pulse of the house, that strange heartbeat resonating deep within her, guiding her. With each step forward, she reached out to her brother, grasping the frayed remnants of his essence. Through the chaos, she began to chant softly, I believe in you. I believe in us. The moment those words left her lips, the shadows broke apart, their hold on him wavering. Stay with me, she urged, her voice stronger now, glimmering with the light of their shared love. In an instant, a brilliant flash erupted, illuminating the house. The figures shifted, their shadows losing substance, revealing their true forms, lonely souls yearning for redemption, trapped in their own cycles of grief. Sarah, her brother whispered, his eyes clear now, filled with clarity. Take my hand. She stretched it out, feelings flooding back, the warmth of family, the memories of love. Those bonds were stronger than any darkness seeking to tear them apart. He took her hand, and they felt a connection ignite like a spark of lightning through the house, illuminating the walls that had once felt so imprisoning. The shadows wretchedly rumbled in response, retreating against the brightness encased in their embrace. Together, they moved toward the door, once ominously closed, now alight with vision and purpose. You can leave, you will leave. She cried, every inch felt like a victory. The door swung open as they reached it, revealing the night outside, stars that flickered brilliantly against the darkness. They stepped across the threshold, souls intertwined, leaving behind the burdens that had once threatened to consume them. In the fresh air, freedom washed over them. Sarah breathed deeply, the scent of earth and rain filling her lungs as she looked at her brother, finally whole. And as they exchanged glances, broken promises and burdens dissolved, a newfound determination in their eyes. The hills behind them, once menacing and dark, remained still, a reminder of the secrets once buried but now transformed by the light of understanding. Sarah held her brother close, basking in the warmth rekindled between them, and as dawn began to break, painting the world in hues of hope, Sarah knew this was not just an escape, it was the start of healing. We faced the darkness together, she whispered, feeling the shadows recede into the past. With her family now at her side, tethered by love, they turned away from Sinister Hills, stepping toward a future woven with resilience and renewed faith. The weight of the secrets they discovered would forever shape them, but with every step forward, they would continue to unearth hope amidst the echoes of their past. Together, they would forge a new legacy, and as they walked into the dawn, the memories of those lost trailed behind but no longer haunted. Instead, they became whispers of love, guiding their way, a reminder that they had triumphed over the darkness. The sun broke through as if confirming their victory, shining a promise on the horizon. The hills would still stand, but their secrets were no longer chains. They were simply stories waiting to be told. Now it's your turn to keep this journey alive. If you loved this explosive conclusion, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will pull you in even deeper. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support for more heart-pounding tales. And I need you to flood the comments section with your reactions, predictions, and theories about the end of Sarah's story. Let's get the conversation going. Don't wait even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this epic finale. Your support means everything.